We are DIYing with a Dollar Tree fall staple today, so stay tuned. Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Shannon from thedailydiyer.com, and let's get right into DIYing some of these foam pumpkins you can find at Dollar Tree. First up, I'm going to show you a fun crafting technique. No tools and no skill required for this first one, but you do need some fluffy white yarn. First, leave a little tail and then take the yarn and kind of flip it back onto itself to make a loop. Now take the longer tail, feed it through that loop to make another loop. See what we're doing here? We're going to do a little bit of finger knitting, finger crocheting. Like I said, no tools required. So you just take that longer tail, put it up through that loop you've just created, and you're going to continue creating a long chain. It needs to be long enough that it's going to go from the bottom of your pumpkin all the way around the top and back down to the bottom again. I would also suggest making your tail or your chain longer than that because we can always remove some, but it's a little bit harder to add some once we start gluing it on. So here's the close-up look. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's all gonna kind of mush together anyway, so don't be hard on yourself, especially if this is your first time. Messy doesn't matter too much. So we're gonna go ahead, speed this up until we have a long enough chain. Like I said, pretty long here, so we can go from the bottom to the top and back around to the bottom again. Then use some good old hot glue to attach our yarn chain onto the pumpkin. So start at the bottom, wrap it up and over the stem, add some more hot glue to the bottom, and pull it tight. Now what we're gonna do is we did make this a little long on purpose, so go ahead and unwind a few loops of your chain to make it to where it perfectly fits into one big loop. Next, you'll cut your tail long. You can see them longer at the bottom. We'll cut those off later. We're going to continue this process, except our next several pieces are actually going to be shorter pieces. They are not going to go all the way around. They're just going to go from the top to the bottom. The reason we're doing that is if you keep looping it over the top, you're going to have a big hump on the top. We don't want that. So we're just going to take smaller strips here, glue them up the sides to the top where they meet, and we're going to continue that process until our entire pumpkin is covered in these yarn chains. It's going to give us the look of a sweater pumpkin. And here it is finished. Don't we love the magic of YouTube? Very cute, fuzzy, love the look of this. And we're gonna add a stem on here. So I grabbed a pretty large size dowel rod from Dollar Tree. We're gonna cut a section of that off with our handsaw and miter box, which I'll have linked down below for you. You can get these for about 10 bucks at Walmart. Super cheap, nice to have on hand, and cut through that thicker wood like we did with the dowel rod. So we're just gonna kind of carve a little hole into the top of the pumpkin, push the dowel rod down into the pumpkin, and then we're gonna make the stem. So because this is a sweater pumpkin, we're staying on trend here, and this is yarn from Dollar Tree. We're gonna do the same thing we did with that fuzzy yarn with this thinner yarn. So you just kind of make your loop, take the tail, put it through your loop, and then continue on until you have a super long chain, because we're gonna wrap this chain around that dowel rod. I really think the addition of this yarn, making it a kind of sweater style pumpkin, gave it more of a high-end look versus obviously what's underneath there. I think the Dollar Tree foam pumpkins look a little chintzy, they need a little help, and this is definitely a fun and cute way to do it. Now, on the flip side of that, Dollar Tree does carry nicer looking foam pumpkins, so we're gonna grab a couple of those for this next DIY, as well as 2 of these candle stands. Now you could do both the same pumpkin, or I'm gonna variate mine a little bit, not just with the pumpkins, but also with the stands. And we're gonna make a cute arrangement on top of these candle stands. So you're gonna need some styrofoam, also from Dollar Tree. We're gonna cut this little block of styrofoam down so it fits on top of that candle holder. So here's the candle holders after the styrofoam is hot glued onto the top. I'm gonna grab a barbecue skewer and my 10 snips here, cut down a small section, stick it up into one of the foam pumpkins, and then stick that down into the styrofoam on top. And I kind of offset mine. I didn't want it straight up and down. So totally up to you how you want to do yours though. And I also suggest using a little bit of hot glue to keep that barbecue skewer down into the styrofoam. Next, we're gonna twist up a bow. So I have 3 layers of some Dollar Tree ribbon here. This is the easiest thing ever. So I made 1 loop and 2 longer tails. So if you don't know how to make bows, this is a really simple way to do it. Just make 1 loop, tie some jute or string around underneath the loop, and then we're gonna add a little bit of some floral wire to stick that down into the styrofoam. So it looks like you made a fancy bow, but really it's just 1 loop. And that really is just enough to cover up these smaller sized candlesticks. Then you'll just take all of your fall greenery and flowers, stick them down into the styrofoam with a little bit of hot glue to make them permanent, and fill in all the gaps in the spaces to make a really simple but really impactful and beautiful fall floral arrangement. So here are the 2 that I made. I could not be more happy with them. 100% Dollar Tree, super affordable, but so beautiful too. I put them on either end of my mantle, but these would be great on either end of a console table or used individually even as centerpieces. Now I know I'm gonna get questions about that cute pumpkin banner hanging on the front of my mantle, and so I'm gonna tell you all about it because you can gain access to this as well. It is part of this month's Pumpkin Patch collection over on my Paper Printables Crafting Club, Honey Prints Paper Co. If you haven't heard about it, let me tell you all about it because it is so fun and you're gonna love it. Is there really such a thing as too many pumpkins? Or in this case, pumpkin crafts? My Paper Printables Crafting Club, Honey Prints Paper Co. just launched this month's brand new collection called the Pumpkin Patch Collection. And this isn't even all of the printables that are included with this month's brand new set. This month, there just happens to be 19 fun printable craft pages, and we are going to craft one of them together. It is just as easy as downloading your files, printing them out on some white cardstock, cutting out the design, and we're gonna use a little bit of adhesive on the front and back side of a yummy fall sucker for this one. You'll wrap the design around your sucker, and we've just created a really cute embellished fall treat that you can give to your friends and family. And we are just getting started. This set also includes easy frameable art, treat boxes, 3 pages for a fun pumpkin carving party. All of these you're able to print out as many as you need. You're also going to get a decorative banner to help decorate your home with, beautiful candle wraps, cozy coffee mug wraps, and tons more. And once you download these files, they are yours forever. And these are just some ideas to get you started, but of course you can get creative and make these projects your own. And the Pumpkin Patch collection is just one of the many collections you're going to gain access to as soon as you join the club. You're also going to get the Honey collection, the Picnic collection, the super cute Lemonade collection, a celebration collection called the Sprinkles collection, and a 25-page craft planner. And even the brand new Mason jar collection just released last month with 18 printable pages to inspire you. Plus, a brand new collection launches every single month on the 15th. The Pumpkin Patch collection is available for a very limited time, and yes, each collection does retire and go into the vault. So don't miss your opportunity to grab this collection so that you can print, craft, and enjoy. And if you want to give it a try, now is the absolute perfect time because I have a coupon code for you. You can use code HONEYPUMPKIN25 to save off your first month's membership. I will have the link down in the description box below for you, a QR code on your screen, so you can head on over right now, try out Honey Prints Paper Co., get to downloading, crafting, and having some fun, making your own home decor for the fall season. It really couldn't be any more easy. So again, use coupon code HONEYPUMPKIN25 to save off your first month's membership of Honey Prints Paper Co. And make sure to grab the Pumpkin Patch collection before it's gone. And if that's not enough pumpkin crafts for you, well, let's get back into the Dollar Tree pumpkin DIYs. I love a good money-saving dupe, and this glass pumpkin was $45 at Pottery Barn. We're gonna make something similar on a budget. And we're gonna do that by grabbing one of these $3 foam pumpkins from Dollar Tree. I also grabbed some of these clear bowls from their party section, and we're gonna start by cutting the top of our pumpkin off. Gotta love a good styrofoam mess, right? I mean, crafting can get messy. That's why I always keep on hand a DustBuster in cases just like this. And it just makes cleanup so quick, so easy. I would recommend grabbing one. I will link one down below for you, because if you don't have one in your craft stash, just saying, you need one. So we're gonna vacuum off the pumpkin and our area before moving on to the next step. I wanted to cover up that styrofoam, so I grabbed a wood round from Dollar Tree, and we're just gonna paint that brown. And we're also gonna paint our pumpkin brown too. Now that the paint is dry, we're gonna put these together. So use some hot glue to glue your wood round onto the bottom of your pumpkin. Now, as you can see, you can still see some of that wood on the sides of the pumpkin because our pumpkin has ridges and our wood piece does not. So I'm just gonna take some nautical rope from Dollar Tree to cover up the edge. Now, this was kind of a pain. I was kind of just disappointed that this bowl that I picked out was a little small, kind of plain, didn't really look like the inspiration piece. So I actually had this one on hand and thought this was a little bit more close to the actual inspiration piece, but it was too big. So I would suggest finding a bigger pumpkin and grabbing one of those bigger Dollar Tree containers, or I had this bowl in my kitchen, so I ended up just using this instead. So you may need to get a little thrifty and shop your house for something that would work a little better, or just kind of match your pumpkin to your container before you walk out of Dollar Tree. The next project is literally going to take you 5 minutes tops. It is so quick and easy. You need a smaller styrofoam pumpkin from Dollar Tree and a pack of their battery-powered tea lights. So we're just going to start by taking the stem off the top of the pumpkin, tracing our tea light on top of the pumpkin, and then taking an X-Acto knife and cutting out around our marks. And this is kind of funny, but I'm going to use my Cricut scraper tool to help me dig the middle of this pumpkin out. It worked really good actually, and I was able to kind of dig down farther so that way my tea lights would sit in there a little bit more flush. These are so cute, so easy, even easier to be able to pull these lights out, turn them off and on, stick them back down in there. And they look so cute when you pair multiples of these together like I have here. And of course we have Miss Honey back there doing some modeling, so make sure to give her a thumbs up. Now, as I said, these styrofoam pumpkins have been around for a long time, and they actually used to have them in white. If you've seen them in white lately, let me know down in the comments below. Mine only had the orange ones. But I have been DIYing with these for quite a while now, and I wanted to bring back some oldie but goodies, especially if you are new around here. You may never have seen these, so they're new to you. And we're gonna start by taking one of those styrofoam pumpkins, painting it with some orange chalk paint, and then using some brown paint to distress the outsides. And a tip here is if you put some of that paint on before it dries, take a wet paper towel or baby wipe and wipe that paint, and it'll kind of smear it around for you, give it more of a natural look. Next, we're going to take a thick and chunky wood round, which was from Dollar Tree long ago. I'm sure you can find these at Hobby Lobby now, but we're just going to take some brown paint that up, let it dry, use some super glue, and attach that onto the top of the pumpkin to make a cute and easy candle holder. Now you could put a candle right on top, or you could go a step farther here. I have a Dollar Tree LED pillar candle. I'm going to use some glue and attach some nautical rope around the candle. Usually hot glue isn't good enough to help stick onto wax, so I would suggest some super glue here. Wrap your rope a few times around the bottom of the candle, use some more glue, stick the ends down, let this dry, and we just dressed up a cute candle to make a beautiful foam pumpkin candle holder. You are never going to look at sink strainers the same way after seeing this DIY. We're going to use the smaller one from the set of 2 at Dollar Tree, trace around the small inset part with a pencil, and then cut out that circle so we can insert that down into the pumpkin. And yes, once you cut that hole out, you'll see that the inside of these pumpkins actually are hollow. Now you can go ahead and paint up your pumpkin however you want. I'm going to use this plaster colored chalk paint, which is from Walmart. I will link all the supplies I'm using today down in the comments below for you. Now we're going to take some glue, add it to the bottom side of that sink strainer, and then stick that right on top of the pumpkin. Once that is attached, has some time to dry, make sure it's going to dry. Have you ever heard of frogs? These are kind of like an older thing, but I've used them a lot actually, and that's kind of what we're using the strainer for, as a guide for our flowers. So we're able to stick our stems of our flowers down into that strainer so it holds them in place for us and it doesn't fall over, and it just looks more full and nice. You can find these mason jar lids with chains on them at Dollar Tree, and we're going to use it to make a hanging pumpkin lantern. First, take the stem of the pumpkin off, then take the mason jar lid, lay it on top of your pumpkin, trace around it, and cut it out. Now I said we're turning this into a lantern, so we're going to take our hot glue gun, turned on, we want it on high heat, and we are going to take it and melt holes into the side of the pumpkin to make openings so you can see the light. Now open up a window or do this outside, wear a mask, safety first. We're going to paint the inside of the pumpkin with a metallic gold color that's going to help bounce the light around for us. And then the outside, you can paint whatever color you want. Again, we're going to use our super glue to attach the lid to the inside rim of our pumpkin that we hollowed out, and that is going to hold our chain in place for us. This pumpkin, we're going to give more of an antique-y look, kind of a vintagey look, in a really simple way. So we're going to start by taking the stem off. They are stuck down in there with a pick, so make sure to remove that too if it sticks in there. And then we're going to just simply take some white chalk paint to give this a good base coat. Once that is dry, we're going to come in with our baby wipe and some brown paint to give this some more color and texture. Now you're gonna need a drawer pull. So this is one of the things when I head into Hobby Lobby, I'm looking for these really cheap signs that I can take apart and use the pieces for, cheaper than I could buy an actual knob. And this one had 3 of them in it. So I'm using some super glue here to add a knob to the top of the pumpkin and some wire that we're gonna twist around it to give it some more detail. Now I can never leave well enough alone. This probably was fine as is, but I decided to cut out some gold colored leaves and stick those on here. If I could go back in time, I probably would take those off, but this is a fun way to kind of make an antique looking pumpkin. Now earlier we made a sweater pumpkin. This time we're gonna add texture by making a t-shirt pumpkin. So we're gonna make a white pumpkin for this. I'm gonna take 2 coats of my white chalk paint on there, let that dry, and then Dollar Tree does carry t-shirts. So keep an eye out for those. It's a cheap way to use fabric if you're needing it. And what we're gonna do is just cut our white t-shirt into long strips. So start at the top, add some hot glue, put your t-shirt end into it, and then start twisting your t-shirt around the length of the pumpkin down to the bottom, hot glue it, and cut off any excess. Repeat that process. It's gonna add a lot of great texture to our pumpkin and give it a different look. Now for the stem, I went out in the yard, grabbed a stick, cut it down, and we're gonna glue that to the top of the pumpkin. Use a little bit of burlap ribbon and some cotton stems to embellish the top, but you can embellish yours however you'd like. I love the different textures you can add to pumpkins, and I think they are so great when you can kind of pair them together and get different textures in a grouping. And this one I think would be so great if you paired it next to that sweater pumpkin that we made earlier. All right, so for these next 4 projects, who remembers my beautiful chalkboard coffee bar that I loved so much before we did our kitchen renovation? I miss it. It was so fun to just craft with and change out for the different holidays and seasons. If you remember that, leave me a pumpkin emoji down in the comments below. So what we're gonna do is update these 4 pumpkins in 4 different ways. And the first way, well, all the ways, we're actually gonna start by painting our pumpkins white. So we're gonna give this first pumpkin a buffalo check print. I still love buffalo check. I don't know, I think it's a classic. I don't think it ever really dies. I don't think a lot of people use it in a lot of their decor anymore, but I definitely think it is super great for that flannel effect for fall. So to create that effect, we're gonna take some gray chalk paint and kind of follow the ridges of the pumpkin from the top to the bottom. Now we're going to take that same gray paint and do circles around the pumpkin in the opposite direction. And then where each one of those lines comes together and meets to make a square or a rectangle, you're gonna paint those in black. So I love the way it turned out. It's kind of got that homemade, homey, handcrafted vibe to it. It's not perfect, and I don't think DIYs honestly should be perfect. I think this is a cute little addition to a fall vignette. The next one is easy peasy. We're gonna take some copper spray paint and spray paint our pumpkin. Now remember in the beginning I said we painted all of these white. Definitely give your pumpkin a couple coats of that chalk paint so that the spray paint will stick to it and it won't eat your styrofoam. You do need kind of a barrier in there. And then just give it a couple coats of that copper spray paint, and this one is good and done and beautiful. Now you can add vinyl decals to your pumpkins too. I said earlier we painted these all white. We are going to give this a coat of clear matte sealer first before applying our vinyl decal. We're gonna embellish this just a little bit more with some chevron style burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree and some jute to add that to the top of the stem. Another way to add some fun texture to your pumpkin is using some burlap ribbon and some jute. Just take some hot glue, add it to your pumpkin, put your fabric over your pumpkin, kind of wrap it around several different times until it's all the way covered. And here's where that jute comes into play. We are gonna wrap that around the pumpkin into those ridges of the pumpkin to bring those back around. And then again, just using a stick from the yard as a stem, and then again, embellishing with some burlap ribbon. Now, if you want to go back in time and you want to see my chalkboard coffee bar that I used to have, I'll try and go back in the archives, find that video, and link it down below for you. But here's the before and after of those 4 Dollar Tree styrofoam pumpkins. I think they come together beautifully and make a beautiful set. Don't forget to grab your pumpkin patch collection from Honey Prince Paper Co. That QR code will be on your screen, a link down below, and use coupon code HONEYPUMPKIN25 to save off your first month's membership. You don't want to miss out on all this fall pumpkin fun. Let me know which one of these projects was your favorite down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you right back here next week for more budget-friendly DIYs. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Have a creative day.